Patrick, hey man, good to see you. Yeah, this platform's a little bit different. I decided to do StreamYard, so yeah, I like the functionality on it for sure. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. We got Thomas. Good to see you, man. Yeah, we're gonna let a few folks here to jump on here, so give it a few minutes here. You gotta stock up on the H2O for sure. Yeah, but these platforms are pretty cool though. Let's see here. Yeah, I agree, Patrick. That's this particular ability for this software is pretty cool that it lets comments show up. So I do like that too. I decided to do a an annual subscription to StreamYard, so it's pretty expensive to be honest. But I think based on what I'm trying to do with getting the message out and talking with more runners and non-runners, because this doesn't necessarily just have to be about running. We can talk about anything. But yeah, I figured I'd do the annual plan, and right now StreamYard's practically the best platform out there in my opinion. So there's only so much I can do in terms of just doing YouTube videos, but if I'm doing more live streams and being able to do these and interact with athletes on different platforms, I think it'll be a good, definitely a good investment. So let's see here. What we got? Perry, good to see you. What do you think about a workout plan for Hyrox? That's a good question. To be honest, I don't have enough background with Hyrox. I'm really have to do a little bit more research on Hyrox. I don't know anything about it. Indoor fitness let's see. Hyrox is an indoor fitness competition that combines 8 kilometers of running, so 5 miles, and 8 functional workout stations, alternating between running and functional exercises. I like that. I'm going to actually do more research on that after the stream here. I'm curious about Hyrox. It's pretty cool. Considering doing a workout plan for Hyrox. Yeah, that's something I will definitely consider and look into for sure. Creating a specific training plan for the Hyrox competition. It looks like it's similar to what we did in the military too. Our APFT changed the Army Physical Fitness plan. Workout actually changed up. I think it was like 2021, right before I retired. But it's similar in the fact that we have different exercises. We don't just do the push-ups and sit-ups anymore. There's a variety. But I like that question, Perry. That's I will definitely consider that, and I'm definitely going to look into Hyrox after this. So yeah, I appreciate you dropping that. That's a good topic for sure. Hey, Shane, good to see you, man. I ran 3:01 in April and planned a marathon again in October. Any advice on finally breaking the 3-hour marathon barrier? Well, one thing, congratulations on running that quick. I don't think enough people realize how fast that is, a 3:01 marathon. So you're really nearing that group. I don't think that you really need to do anything significantly different, because the fact that you're already basically there. I have made a lot of videos on the RunDreamAchieve YouTube channel specifically for athletes that are trying to break 3 hours. So my best advice, I guess, is to go back and watch those. I actually have, and I also created a running course you may be interested in called the Sub 3 Hour Marathon Pro Course. And I go pretty much from A to Z exactly what you need to do in order to break that particular barrier. And at the end of that course, I have a 16-week training plan specific for athletes trying to aim for sub 3 hours for the marathon barrier, or sub 3 hours for the marathon. So you're there, Shane. I mean, it's just a matter of probably another 6 month to 12-month block of training, more than likely just 6 months. You've run 301, and which is awesome. And I think the fact that you're aiming after another one in October, preferably at that time of year, you're going to have a better shot of going well below. I think in your next marathon, I think you're going to absolutely destroy the sub 3 hour marathon barrier. So yeah, man, kudos to you. Continue to work on, not like I always talk about, don't just get in the habit of running slow and easy on those weekend long runs. Get in the habit of start mixing up some of those long runs with running at more towards your 10K to half marathon race pace. And that may just be for, an example of that might be, it's an example of what I used to do in my prime. I would do 20 to 24 mile long run. And every fourth to fifth mile of that long run, if it was a 20 miler, I would do every fifth mile, I would drop a sub 5 minute mile in the middle. Every 5th, 10th, 15th, and 20th mile. In your case, you're trying to get that 6:52 mile pace. So that's the key, to get that pace to feel more like a relaxed effort. And so in order to do that, you are going to have to spend some time really getting outside of your comfort zone, but not running hard every single weekend. Okay. Because again, those very paced long runs, they're extremely difficult to handle, both physiologically as well as mentally. So you want to make sure you're giving yourself, 48 hours up to 72 hours in some cases in order to recover from those hard efforts that you're throwing at yourself. But man, you're already there, Shane. Awesome work. Awesome work. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. I would appreciate any insights you have on balancing triathlon training and running being my primary. Yeah, I mean, it's already hard enough to do one discipline, but in order to balance 3 different disciplines on top of having other responsibilities, Michelle, yeah, I mean, you really have to, I'm preaching to the choir with you. I already know you have an enormous background in both fitness and being active. Strength training for sure, making sure that you're ensuring that you have the least amount of chance of getting injured while you're training. And strength training comes in numerous different ways. We do it, we can be in the gym. You can be doing hill repetitions, running on hillier terrain. All of that type of training is a form of strength training in its own right. But balancing triathlon training with running being your primary, I'm not a triathlete, so I can't really go too in depth. But again, the fact that you're doing cycling, you're doing swimming on top of your running, just make sure that you're already doing all the other fundamentals correctly, making sure you get proper sleep, making sure you're maintaining your ferritin levels. Like I always talk about iron. So many athletes run low on ferritin and without even realizing it. Okay. And if we run low on that, really, it doesn't matter how much motivation or drive you have, you're going to have a very difficult time performing at a high level. So making sure that, whether that's just taking, and again, the only way to find out if you are low on that is a blood test. So a lot of athletes will really, I didn't know anything about it until my coach at the time, Lisa Rainsberger, she said, hey, have you ever got a blood test and find out where your ferritin levels are at? So I got a blood test and I was borderline anemic. So this does play a role, even in triathlon training for sure, with the amount of, running you have to do, swimming, cycling, all that on top. More importantly, just making sure too that you stay relaxed, stay calm with what you're doing. Try the best you can to balance it all, because again, it's already hard enough just to train, just to run and to get in great, physiological shape, but also to balance those other, both cycling as well as swimming. That takes a very strong athlete, which you are. So, I mean, I hope that answers your question. It's just more than anything, it really just comes down to making sure you're recovering well, your nutrition is on point, you're hydrating well, and making sure you're strong, as far as your strength training is concerned. So hope that's helpful, Michelle. See, Patrick, I'm in week 5 of my sub 3:20 marathon plan. I'm having doubts if I can hold 7:38 pace for 26.2 miles. Based on my half marathon, my VDOT has been running 3:21, 3:22 and a half. 3:21, 3:22. Yeah, really, Patrick, just stay patient with yourself, man. I mean, I had times too where I was starting to worry about if I could handle the types of paces I was aiming for the marathon too. And you're doing everything right. Just stay patient. The fact that you're only in week 5, you're earlier on in the program too. So don't get too bent out of shape if you don't hit the paces, or if the volume, if you feel like it's too aggressive, then back off. I'd rather you be a little bit more cautious in terms of volume and making sure you're recovering, rather than just doing high volume for high volume's sake. If you can be running 100 miles a week and still not get a 3:20 marathon, sub 3:20, if you're running too much volume, So just be patient with yourself. This is a sport that, as you know, is we all know that great results just do not come quickly, and sometimes we have to experience those doubts. But that's the part of the game. The best runners in the world deal with it. I certainly dealt with it over the years, and it's just stay patient and persistent with what you're doing. You're gonna do awesome. I have no doubt you'll break sub 3:20. Let's see, Thomas. I think I'm gonna try to add you. I don't know if this works. Okay, cool. Yeah, you are. You have to put a little bit more different type of platform. But I'll keep you up to now. If you have any questions, or if you want to jump back on screen, just let me know. But it's great to see you too, man. Great to see you on board. Cannon, let's see. Cannon, my current PR is 22 flat, and I haven't raced the 5K since November. So I was wondering if you have any tips on breaking 20 minutes, because I'm really confident that I can do it with the right training. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you can run 22 flat already proves to me that you have the capability. If it was 32 flat, I'd say, let's adjust the goals, in terms of time frame. But November is a while away, so you have plenty of time to prepare for that. That particular barrier too, like I mentioned to the other commenter here, I have sub 25K training plans on RunDreamAchieve. I also have made a few videos about the sub 20 minute barrier. So feel free to go on the channel and click on the magnifying glass and type in sub 20 minute 5K or 20 minute 5K, and you'll see a few videos that I've made on that particular barrier. That's what, let me see, 1959 for 5K. That's 6:26 mile pace, 4 flat kilometer pace. So yeah, I mean, you're looking at in terms of threshold effort would be around 6:52 mile pace, 4:16 kilometer pace. So again, the key thing is lactate tolerance, being able to clear that lactic acid more effectively as you race and slow down less than your competition. One of the best pieces of advice, in terms of the 5K distance that helped me, my high school coach, and I credit him to helping me run my PR for 5K when I was in high school, 15:48. He said, don't make a major move until you get past the first mile. Wait till you get to the first mile and then make it an all-out 2.1 mile race. And I think that's really important, because in the 5K, even though it's still an aerobic event, it feels like an anaerobic event because it's so short and it's over so fast, that it's easy to make a mistake in that race in terms of going out too quick, going into oxygen debt, and being forced to slow down in that last 2.1 miles. Give me just a second. One of my daughter is once in the room here. Just a second. All right. Here. All right. Let's say hi to everybody. So this is our daughter. As you all know, you've been watching my videos long enough. This is Sophie. We've had her for 15 years. We've had our male cat, Firm, for 17 years. And this one right here is a handful and a half. She's loves her mommy, but kind of a daddy's girl, and Firm is definitely a mama's boy. So yeah, we have to make sure these two are happy. Hi, honey. Sorry about that, but Cannon, yeah, I think that like I mentioned before, you're already on the path to doing this. Dropping 2 minutes in the 5K, you can significantly drop a large amount of time off these particular race distances. But again, just like the marathon distance, half marathon distance, it's pacing. Okay. You have to be very smart with that as well. All right. And not getting, like I mentioned before, getting too excited, running your race, stay at that particular pace. Don't go out at 5:55 the first mile. Okay. You're wanting to hold 6:26 mile pace for those 3.1 miles, 4 kilometer pace. So be a little bit more patient until you get to that first mile, the first 1.6K into the race, then make a major move. Okay. So keep me posted for sure, because I know you're well on your way to running well under that time. Let's see. Audio next block starts on Monday. Okay. Patrick, the volume and splits are easy right now. I'm just looking ahead in the plan and think those are monster long runs. Yeah, it's going to get harder. There's no doubt about it. I mean, all these training plans, and again, I always preach this, I always tell athletes, the training plans are a guide. It's the same with the running courses. The running courses are much more in depth because I create videos that are we go A to Z through those, and then it ends in a training plan. Whereas a training plan, it's more of a guide. Okay, you don't necessarily have to hit the exact splits or run make sure that you're running every single specific workout exactly what's on the training plan. There's going to be days where you're going to be off. There's going to be days where you're going to be well ahead of the paces, but don't get too carried away in the paces. What I don't want for athletes, such as yourself, is I don't want you getting too fit too soon. And that's a mistake that a lot of runners make. I made it, just like any other athlete. We get too fit too soon, and then you still got another 8 to 9 weeks to go, and sometimes what I recommend too is for athletes, if you get in phenomenal aerobic and anaerobic shape and you feel like you're really ready to do it, but your race is like another 4 weeks away, maybe consider changing up your plan. Instead of that race that's 4 weeks away, maybe consider running that race like 2 weeks. And you just have to find another race, but don't, because again, it's difficult when you get in phenomenal race shape too soon to hold that for that particular fitness for an extended period of time. So yeah, I mean, Patrick, like I said, you're on it, man. Just stay patient. I'll be doing more streams more regularly. And of course, I'll still continue to make videos. I think I've had the channel since 2012, but I didn't start making videos until 2019. I wish I would have started making videos back in 2005 when YouTube started, when I was still in my prime, and I could have at least made a little bit more action type videos, things like that. But I don't mind. I'm at the age now. I'm 48 now, so I like more toward just answering questions, getting online and talking with you all. So let's see. Just want to hang out with. Okay, cool, Thomas. Good stuff, man. Just want to hang out with RDA teammates. Good stuff. Yes, Sophie is a queen. She is indeed a queen. Yeah, and again, these are. I'll have to look at the platform, but I believe I'm streaming on Twitch, Twitter, here on YouTube. I will be on LinkedIn, but you have to have 150 connections on there, and I'm relatively new to LinkedIn, so can't really live stream there yet until again I'm on that particular platform for extended period of time. But it's slow going right now. So, and I know everybody's got things going on too. So, I mean, as far as schedules and things like that, in terms of timing, everybody's in different parts of the world as well. So it'll be, you know, we'll learn as we go here. Let's see, Mag 93. I hit 23 kilometers at marathon pace at a 29 kilometer run. It was peak mileage that week, 5 weeks out. Heart rate got really high in the end, and it felt maybe too high. How bad will the last 10 kilometers feel in the marathon? Well, it will definitely hurt. There's no doubt about it. In terms of the marathon distance, just from experience, the first 20 miles last 10 kilometers, and the real race starts in the last 10 kilometers, in my opinion. You just have to make sure that you continue to do the things that the best distance runners do. Okay. And the best runners, a lot of runners think outside the box in terms of what are the other things that my competition may not be thinking about. Okay. Little things like running the tangents in the race, running the least amount of distance as you need to run in the race. If right-hand turn's coming up, you don't need to be on the far left-hand side of the road. You need to be on the far right-hand side of the road. So that, again, you're running the least amount versus your competition that may not be paying attention to those little things. And so that's really important. But yeah, it sounds like, based on what I'm reading here, you're in great shape. You're 5 weeks out. Heart rate getting high at the end. Well, that's normal. When you're fatigued and you're running at a harder effort, that's going to happen for sure. But yeah, like you said, it might have been a little bit too hard, but again, you do want to challenge yourself mentally and physically in the training too. Always make training the most difficult part, not the race. The race is going to be hard, but again, a lot of times we stress out about the morning of the race, and which is normal to have a little bit of nerves. But man, what I did would help me the most is I always would, throw every possible thing I could in training so that when it came time to race, regardless of what my competition was throwing at me, I was going to be able to react to it, because I pushed myself so hard in training that when came time to do a taper, I believe in a 10-day taper. So, if you're a follower of some of my videos, I just talk about a 10-day taper versus a 3-week taper. Don't start dropping your volume until you're 10 days out. Because again, 10 days is plenty of time for you to recover. And 2, you want to continue to train up to that point, continue to remind your legs what you're preparing them to do, and not drop in volume and intensity too far out, so that you feel, you want to feel energized and feel recovered rather than feeling lethargic and tired. A lot of times, not always, because 3-week tapers still work for a lot of athletes, but a lot of times it doesn't. And again, as you all know, I'm preaching to the choir here. I know you all are experienced athletes and successful and accomplished athletes yourselves, but it's just, sometimes you can do everything right, it doesn't work out. But a lot of times, a lot of athletes that have started doing what I teach with that 10-day taper, I've seen a lot of athletes either leave comments on the videos or reach out to me through email, say, man, that worked. That was what I needed to do. And that's something to just keep in mind as you prepare. You're doing what's right in terms of the marathon. It looks like you're doing some solid marathon paced efforts. Your long runs are solid. You're at basically 18 miles, over 18.6 miles, getting close to 30K runs. That's the type of stuff, and even a little bit longer, but not always. 18 to 24 miles is that sweet spot. For some athletes, it might be a little bit less. But as you're training for a marathon, it's 26.2 miles, 42.2K. So you want to be thinking about, okay, I want to be right around 30K to around 40 kilometers for my long runs, but just not running too hard every single weekend. Okay. So keep me posted. Like I said, that last 10 kilometers, yeah, it's going to hurt. There's no doubt about it. But again, if you're throwing everything at yourself in training, it's not like when it's time to race, when you get to the race, when you've dropped your volume, you've dropped your intensity, you're starting to recover and you're rested. Then you have all that confidence. You have that knowing that you did everything in training properly, the very best that you could. You've paid attention to the other fundamentals, proper sleep, mental rehearsal, seeing yourself getting across the finish line in your goal time, you've done everything possibly correct. So I really think there's power in that. And then going into a competition, knowing that, hey, there's nothing that my competition is going to throw at me that I'm not going to be able to handle, and you have that confidence, which I know you do. So hope that's helpful for you. Let's see. Coach Nate, awesome since 1977. Well, I'm a little bit older than that. I 76, but I hear you, Thomas. I appreciate that, man. Kudos. Let's see. Alan, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Do you think everyone is able to run a sub 3-hour marathon with enough training, or is it based on genetics and natural ability? Wow, great question. That's what I love about these streams, because the questions. I mean, I think that I don't really like placing limits on athletes because I never placed them on myself. So I think the time frame that it takes for some athletes to achieve that fast of a time is going to be drastically different based on the athlete's maturity level. I think yes, I do think you definitely need some form of natural ability to get in the 2:59, 59 or faster. But I think too that it's not just about genetic ability. It's not just about talent. It's a matter of a mixture of a portion of natural ability, but also a very high level of motivation and drive and discipline. Because if you don't have that and you're just relying on your genetics and your natural ability, it's going to be difficult. The problem is for a lot of us, including myself, we throw goals at ourselves that we want to achieve in this specific time frame, and sometimes it takes, instead of a few months, it takes a few decades or a couple decades. And it's natural. It's very natural for people, any sane individual, to quit early or to let up, to find other things. I mean, I think if you in terms of your question there, if you don't lose enthusiasm, if you have a strong belief in yourself, which I know you do, otherwise you wouldn't be asking a question like that. You can make up for lack of talent with some work ethic. And the only problem is that somebody with talent may be able to break that barrier in a matter of 6 months or a year and a half. And somebody without a great deal of genetic capability, it may take them 5 years, 10 years. The key thing is they finally get there, regardless how long it takes. You know what I mean? So hope that's helpful. Cannon, how long should my long runs be when training for 5K, and what pace should they be? Well, one, and again, I believe you're the one that asked about the sub 20 5K, so 6:26 pace. I think the 5K, it's not like the marathon, as you know. So I think it's going to vary from athlete to athlete, but 5K anywhere from like 8 miles to 12 miles, 8 to 12 miles, in that range for a long run. In terms of what pace you should be running those at, if you're in an earlier stage of your buildup, I think the focus should be just running easy and relaxed long runs. When I talk about varied pace long runs, I don't tell athletes and I don't set the training plans or the running courses I've made. We don't start doing that type of workout until first you've built that aerobic fitness. So I think for the first, if you're training for a 5K, and you're giving yourself 12 to say 16 weeks. 16 weeks for a lot of athletes might be a little bit too long, but 8 to 12 weeks, I think that first 3 to 4 weeks should be easy and relaxed, and then start moving into the paces. But in terms of your pace question, 6:26 is the pace you need to be hitting for easy, relaxed recovery pace for an athlete trying to break 20 minutes. It should be around for easy, relaxed 8:15 to around 9-minute mile pace. But if you're training more, and that's in the early stages, then you want to start spending some time in that long run, running at, around 6:15 pace for like a mile. It might be, if you're doing like a 12 miler, every fourth mile, drop a 6:05 to 6:10 mile in the middle of that long run. Because you want to get that goal 6:26 mile pace to feel easier for you. So yeah, you can run a goal 5K race pace. It's going to be hard, but then You drop a faster mile, then run a 3 or 4 easy relaxed miles, then drop another challenging mile. Okay. Cut down workouts are also really cool too in long runs, where you're, might be like a 10 miler and you're starting off at like, just for example, like 8-minute mile pace, then 7:40 mile pace, and then 7:20 mile pace. You're dropping 20 seconds each rep. It's just an example, but doing those two, again, you're teaching yourself to run at faster efforts when you're fatigued. And again, we can go out and run a long period of time relaxed and easy because there's such a small amount of lactic acid buildup that's being generated. The body can optimally clear that faster than it's building up. So the key is to get that goal race pace, train at paces that are significantly faster at times during your long run. So that, again, on top of doing your speed training, your hill repetitions, tempo runs, things like that, you get that pace to feel easier for you. So yeah, that's my answer. I hope that's helpful for you, Cannon, and I wish you the best on your upcoming races. But yeah, the long run, yeah, it's going to vary from athlete to athlete, but if you can do 3 times the distance of your goal race, so 9 miles, you're tripling the distance. So between 9 and 12 miles will make you very, very strong. Let's see what else we got here. Oliver, good to see you. Thoughts on beetroot powder to lower the heart rate? Honestly, I don't know enough about it. I'd have to research that again. And you guys are dropping some gems here. I got the beetroot powder. These are things I'll look into a little bit. I've heard of it, of course, but I don't know enough about it to really give you a legitimate answer in terms of lowering the heart rate. I mean, of course, there are supplements out there for sure that help and assist you, but I mean, the training itself is definitely going to lower your heart rate. I mean, it's just nice that we can look at our training and see that, I might be starting off my training block and I'm running 9-minute mile pace or whatever that is at kilometer pace. I think that's maybe around 5:41 kilometer pace, somewhere around there, 5:30 kilometer pace. You can see the difference, like where your heart rate was at when you first started your training block. And then, 12 weeks down the line, you see how you're training at your anaerobic threshold and running at VO2 max at times, running relaxed. All those combinations of training intensities have later, 8 weeks down the line, 12 weeks down the line, you're running at, instead of 9-minute mile pace or whatever that is, kilometers pace, you're running at 8:20 kilometer pace at the same heart rate. So, and I know I'm preaching to the choir with that, but yeah, I don't know enough about that, Oliver. It's a great question. I will look into that. I also got to make note of Hyrox. I will dig into that a little bit more as well. But hope that's helpful. I mean, not really helpful in terms of your beetroot powder question, but in terms of just training and being able to sustain faster paces with a lower heart rate. It's really amazing, as you all know, how getting in great anaerobic fitness race shape carries over and allows us to be able to run at much faster paces at a much more relaxed effort, and we're able to clear that lactic acid more effectively along the way and not slow down as much as when we first started the buildup. So let's see, Galetta, 16:20 for 5K and 34 for 10K. Respect. Awesome. That's very, very competitive times. I know I have much more potential to give with only 1 year of running experience. Wow. Okay. Do you think at this rate by next year I would be running elite times? Like I said, I've never placed limits on other athletes. I didn't place them on myself. And I think that it's important to have that type. You have the type of mindset that you absolutely need to have in order to reach elite times. It's you're already running some very competitive times, but it's going to take time. I don't know if you can. I won't say impossible, but doing that in 1 year is a huge undertaking. To say you're going from 16:20 down to 14:20 or faster in the 5K. I think really. My nephew is an example. I mean, he's nearing elite level in the 5K. He just recently ran 14:22, but he was when he was in high school. I remember him running in the 16s, and then he got in the 15s, and then he got in the 14s, and kept dropping time. I think that there's no reason why it's not feasible. You definitely have the capability to do it. But I just think that can you get it done in a matter of 12 months? I think the goal right now for you in the next year, get under say 15:30 for 5K and work toward getting to around like 32:30 in the 10K, and then keep working on cutting down that time. I won't say that you won't be able to achieve an elite time in the future. How quickly you do it really depends on a lot of factors, and certainly it's you have the motivation and drive. You're asking the right questions. And yeah, I think it's definitely feasible. It's not impossible. You've already run some times that a lot of athletes wish they could run and wish they could say they have that particular PR for those particular events. So well done. Awesome work. 16, 20, and 34 for 10K is no joke. You have to be very, very fit to run that quick. Yeah, and keep me posted for sure, because you're well on your way to getting the elite time. Okay, Oliver, again, let's see. Have you run the Boston Qualifier, 2 last chance marathon? It's 3-mile loops. I have never run that. Boston, I've never run. My wife ran it in 2008, but I've never ran that particular event. It's awesome to see how that race has grown over the years. I mean, it's one of the oldest, if not the oldest. I believe it's still the oldest marathon. But no, I've never run that. The types of I wish I would have ran Boston, Berlin. I mean, I still can. It's to the point now where I more so jog and walk for fitness, and there are days where I do run. But I did everything in the sport that I wanted to do based off of my experience, and I get a lot more enjoyment just making videos and answering questions, jumping on live streams. Of course, this is way better than just answering comments on videos that I made, because this is real time. So, but yeah, it sounds like a pretty cool race. See, I drink beet juice every morning. Good stuff, Patrick. Yeah, I got to look into it. I have heard about it, but I don't know enough to give a legitimate answer there. Hey, Super Trebo, good to see you. I wanted to ask your honest opinion. Do you think it's okay for some runners that are not as fast genetically to just enjoy running half marathons and fulls for fun and not fast race times? Yes, absolutely. One, you're just placing a lot of additional stress on yourself that's really not needed, and even athletes that do say have a high amount of genetic capability, they even stress out way too much. I mean, I'm talking out of experience, because I've dealt with it over the years too. I mean, it took me several years to get to a point where I was really confident in what I was doing, and I didn't place so much stress on myself about, like, if I didn't hit specific splits that I wanted in training, or I missed a few bad or had a few bad races. I do think, not just for athletes that are at a very high caliber in terms of physiological capability, but both for them as well as athletes that are just trying to get faster and trying to, but not so much of a focus on earning a Boston Marathon qualifying time, or trying to qualify for the Olympic trials on the track or on the roads. Yeah, I think it's important. Just go out and have fun, enjoy yourself. You can still train really hard and still get great results, but also don't lose the fun in what you're doing, And shoot for sub 4 easy marathon or half marathon at realistic goals, like sub 8-minute half, and just for fun when lifting weights, kind of like hybrid training. Yeah, like I said, yeah, I think that's something all of us, regardless of ability level, should keep in mind. Just still keep it fun, and don't stress out so much that you lose excitement for what you're doing, because once you lose that, it's over. I mean, just about, or you just need to take a great deal of time, 2 weeks to a month away from the sport. Give yourself some time to relax and recharge. That's oftentimes what most runners just need to do. So, all right, give me a second. My daughter's pissed off again. Come on. little one, I'll tell you. Daughter is not playing games tonight. Let's see. Will, good to see you, man. Have you or your athletes dealt with injuries during your training block? Yes. Currently I have shin splints on my right leg and am training for a sub 230 in 6 weeks. Respect, man. Awesome. Currently sticking to the elliptical. Yeah, I mean, I've had just about every injury you can think of. I've had 2 knee surgeries, minor knee surgeries when I was in college on my left knee, once on my right knee. I've had shin splints once, and they're not fun. Best thing you can do in terms of your elliptical, I recommend getting in the pool if you have access to the pool and do pool running, because if you jump in the pool without a flotation device, you're really going to have to pump your arms and focus on your form, kicking your legs to keep yourself above water. Wearing a flotation device, it's also great too, because again, you can get in the deep end of the pool and run for an hour to 45 minutes to 2 hours, however long you want to run. It's much easier with a flotation device because again, you have the water pressure that's going to really make make it a strong workout in terms of pumping your arms and focusing on your form. Very, very boring. But it's definitely a great workout because you don't have any impact on the joints and on the ligaments and on your case, the shins. Elliptical is great too, of course. Give me a second. What's going on? Oh man, got the daughter coming in and out there. No, but that's and I understand fully. It's definitely frustrating, especially with shin splints. Make sure you do keep it elevated, which I'm sure you're doing. Elevation, ice. Do a mixture of both warmth, heating your shins, and icing after you're done as well. So a mixture of both of those helps in terms of healing. Ibuprofen. But yeah, it sounds like you're doing what you can do in your current situation here. You're, in my opinion, an elite athlete based on the type of time you're aiming for. I just made a video about that sub 230 marathon barrier. That is extremely difficult time barrier to get. And so respect to you for going after that, and respect to all the athletes, regardless of what type of time you're going for. Athletes that are at 5 hours for the marathon are no more, less of an athlete to me than somebody breaking 230, but you're in a very select group of athletes that can go that quick. But yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Be patient. I know it's frustrating. Like I said, I ruptured my plantaris tendon. I've had Achilles tendonitis. I've had patellar tendonitis when I was in college. Fortunately, I haven't had it since, but had to wear those knee bands. But yeah, I've had a lot of injuries too over the years, and just know it. I mean, it will pass. It will pass. And again, there's always, if you miss whatever reason, I know it sucks, but if you miss your goal race, there's always other races out there that you can jump in. I know it throws a wrench in your plans for sure, and believe me, I've been there. But you're doing the right things. I mean, like I said, just make sure you're staying as much as you can off of that shin and or maintaining and not placing too much stress on that. But again, elliptical, cross training, as long as it doesn't involve impacting and putting too much stress on that, I think is a good plan of action. So hope that helps, Will, and definitely keep me posted on your sub 230, man. I know you're going to get it. Hey, Alvinsa Miguel, is it okay to do 3 times 2 kilometers at half marathon pace on Friday when my half marathon race is on Sunday? Saturday will be totally off. Sunday's race is not an important race. Okay. If it's not like your goal race, and you just want to make it more of as a workout, I think that 3 times 2K, considering it's just more of a workout type race, I think is okay. I would probably do 2 times 2K instead of 3. And if it was more of a serious race, I would have that workout probably on Thursday. I like the fact Saturday is off. That's good. Yeah, I still think it's okay. Because again, you're obviously still in training mode here. So and this is not, like you said, it's not an important race. It's not like the main race. So yeah, I think that's okay. As long as you're giving yourself sufficient time, give yourself full rest between those 2K reps. Don't, if you're doing a 2K, I wouldn't do like 60 seconds rest, or, give yourself ample time to recover between each one of those reps. I think you should be okay. Yeah. Good luck, and good luck on the race too on Sunday. Sounds like you're really fit. Super Trabo, I asked because there's group runners. Okay, I asked because there's group runners for slower runners, and seems like they're always trying to run fast and run a certain pace, or race time can be stressful and make you hate running. Yeah, it's true, and it's it's not just more for recreation runners. It's for every type of athlete, regardless how ability level. You can still put in the heavy work, but if you place too much stress on yourself and you beat yourself up over workouts and races, it's like it makes the process of preparation that much less exciting, and a lot of runners, they stress themselves out, and again, they worry too much about every single workout. I got to hit this specific pace. Remember, and I always mention this in the videos, it takes about 28 days, almost 4 weeks for your body to adapt to what you throw at it physiologically. So it takes time to adapt to what we do. And a lot of times, we want the results like right now in the first like week and a half, 2 weeks of training, and you're just not able to hit those paces that early. So yeah, I hear where you come from, ST. So yeah. Hopefully everybody just maintains the right mindset and, keeps it fun. You still have to work your tail off in order to run faster, as you all know, but man, keep it fun, Patrick, from what I've read on beet juice is that it's the most effective at delivering oxygen, increasing your VO2 max. Okay. I don't know if that corresponds to low heart rate training. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to dig more into it. I mean, as much I have heard of beet juice, but I mean, again, it's one of several things that can assist athletes. But again, if you're not out there putting in the work, you can drink as much beet juice as you want, and I know you know this, but it's like we have, if you're trying to race at faster speeds, you have to be able to, put in that heavy training at VO2 max, like you mentioned there, but just drinking it, I'd have to research it more, but I think just drinking beet juice is not going to, increase your VO2 max without some combination of both the anaerobic training on top of implementing drinking beet juice as well. But again, I could be wrong too. So, I mean, again, I certainly don't know everything. I know a lot of you know far more about other things than I do in terms of training too. So, but good question there, Patrick. I mean, good information there. I appreciate it. Alan, I found that I've been improving my results in the 5K, 10K, and half marathon. Should my training paces also automatically adjust to those results? Yeah, they should. I mean, the fitter you get, yeah. And the VDOT calculator is a great tool for sure. I mean, I still use it myself too. Yeah, and as you get faster, yes, you should adjust your easy paces, your anaerobic threshold efforts, intensities, what paces you should be running at your VO2 max, all that should be adjusted. And it is nice that VDOT calculator does help a lot too. As you get fitter, we can adjust the workout. So yeah, absolutely. Elias, good to see you. I just came off of a marathon block and I raced a mile 10 days after my marathon and I ran 4:49. Awesome. Congratulations on the PR. That's awesome. Any changes with consistent workouts? I can go 4:40 in 9 weeks with mile training. Yes, absolutely. If you were asking me to go from a 4:49 to a 4:09, I'd say that it might be in 9 weeks. That's a big ask, but you're trying to drop another 9 seconds, which is still a nice chunk of time there off of the 1,609 meters or 1,600 meters if you're running, a little short of a mile, but a full mile, you're trying to go from 4:49 to 4:40 in 9 weeks. Yes. My advice, keep doing what you're doing because you're doing on top, and you've already done longer training as well, which is going to make you so much more dangerous. If the athletes that are out there that they're just focusing on the mile, you have that marathon background, that those longer type races on top of going into a faster, closer to anaerobic type race, which is the mile, of course. Anaerobic for sure is like 100, 200, but I'd still say a mile falls into the anaerobic capability category in terms of races. But yeah, absolutely, you can do that. And again, getting that 70-second quarter pace to feel easier, you're going to have to spend some time doing, and I know you know this, doing some 200s, some 400s at more, 55 to 60-second quarter pace. I mean, you can do that type of pace for 200s. It's going to be tough to do 400-meter reps at that particular intensity, but you can do some 200s, some 300s at around 60-second pace. Do some 400s at 66, 65 to 67 pace, getting below goal race pace, and you're going to do it. And the fact that, you've already dropped to 449, that's awesome, man. And then after a marathon, awesome work. Galetta, thank you so much for your feedback. I'll keep you posted. Good stuff. I'll be running a 10K June 7th. My goal is 32:55. Also, I have no coach, no running buddies, just self-made. My dream is to run elite, but I know it's hard work and consistency. Yeah, you're well on your way, and I've seen athletes that are at your caliber get to that particular capability in their races. So the fact you're asking the right questions, you have the right mindset. Keep doing, just mentioned, maintain enthusiasm, because it's going to be tough. There's going to be snags along the way. There's going to be some times where you're going to be tested. But yeah, you definitely can reach it. There's no reason why, if you were at like 40 minutes for 10K and you were at 20 minutes for 5K, getting to the elite level is very, very difficult. It's so difficult. Even I was competitive, but I wasn't quite at that elite of the elite. And again, everybody's got their own viewpoint of what elite is, but to make an Olympic team, to get, say, under 14 minutes for 5K or under 13 minutes for 5K, which is even more difficult, just a few amount of people can do that. But it's the type of athletes such as yourself that are asking the right questions and have that drive and motivation to get up and put in the work, regardless of what the weather conditions are like, regardless how, unmotivated you feel. Those are the ones that are dangerous. So yeah, I'm excited to hear about your future progress. So keep me posted for sure. Let's see, Coach, what are your thoughts on Jake Barracu? Ran to Japan, running massive easy miles, probably 90%. I think for some athletes it works. It's a mystery to me at times, because I know I would have never ran the types of times I ran based on just running easier, relaxed mileage. But for some athletes, it really works out well for them, and they do better off of just easier, relaxed mileage versus doing a lot of speed training. So, and the Japanese are definitely very well known for very, very high volume, 200 miles, 230 miles a week. And again, I don't think anybody can really do that amount of mileage if a larger portion of that volume isn't easy and relaxed. Yeah, they do have to still do some faster workouts, of course, thrown in there, but to be able to do 200, and a lot of them are, it's usually like 150 miles a week up to like 230. I've heard 250 miles a week, crazy volume. But yeah, it works for some athletes. Nancy, good to see you. Hope everything's going well in Mexico. And Nancy's no joke. She's run 255. So for the marathon, she's an elite. Respect. She's dropped some great times. So she's, again, like all of you on the call here, she had the high amount of volume or high amount of motivation and drive. So let's see, if I'm able to achieve Olympic standards in 5K, 10K, even though I don't compete in college, would I be eligible to enter U.S. Olympic trials? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't need to be a collegiate athlete to do that. You have to meet the standards. But yeah, there's plenty of athletes out there that aren't collegiate athletes that meet the standards. If you can meet the standard, you're qualified to go to the Olympic trials. Yeah. So JR, good to see you. Hi, coach. Is it better to stay on the lower or upper limit of zone 2 during base training? Good question. I mean, if it was me, I would be more on the lower end. I mean, again, because base training, that's what it's there for. You're building out aerobic fitness. You're not focused on specific mile or kilometer splits or doing longer tempo runs and all that. Yeah, I would focus. I mean, as long as you can do a mixture of it. Because zone 2, it's still relatively easy and relaxed for the most part. But yeah, I would focus if it's base training. Just remind yourself, okay, I'm not going to get too carried away here. I want to build my fitness, but I'm not in specific race mode yet. So keep it relaxed, build your stamina or build your endurance, strengthen your tendons, your ligaments, muscles, and then start moving more into faster training. But yeah, on the lower end, you can still have some upper end zone 2 training in there, but base training should be relaxed and really relaxed, easy. So, hey, William, do you think strength training legs once a week is sufficient, or do you think twice a week is ideal? I think it's sufficient if you're doing. Yeah, I think it's sufficient for once a week because you got to also remind yourself. And I too, I did one strength training workout a week in the gym. But also you got to keep in mind, strength training also is hill repetitions, running over hillier terrain. You're working different muscle groups versus when you're just running on flat roads or on the flat track. So doing strength training, focusing on legs once a week on top of doing hill repetitions or doing track sessions, VO2 max type workouts, that's also a form of strength training too. So you're going to get a mixture of both of those in doing strength training in the gym as well as training on the track or on the roads. But just, again, be mindful of your recovery, because again, there's only so many times we can push the body hard before you start getting diminished returns on your time investment you're putting in that work. So yeah, hope that's helpful for you. See, Trevo, I use Beetroot capsules, and I can tell you right now, they make a huge difference. Okay. I did 14 plus miles treadmills today and kept my heart rate 140 average easy. And that was after a hard day work, Oliver. Good stuff, Trevo. Appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, that's, I said, I've heard of it, but I didn't know it makes really that much of a major difference. But that's awesome to hear that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, no problem. Thanks for your support. Oliver, thoughts on these Kenyans getting banned for doping? Man, you ain't kidding. It's not just them. I mean, it's a lot of these runners. That's all they have. I mean, in terms of like, a lot of them are like relying on winning the Boston Marathon or winning, a huge amount of cash. Because again, a lot of these athletes send their money back to their families and things. But yeah, running has gotten out of control, in my opinion, in terms of performances. I don't think that every elite athlete out there is cheating or doing anything wrong. I think there's some out there. I think there are a lot out there that are getting away with it. And it's frustrating to see, especially when you see athletes that are legitimately putting in the work and just getting destroyed in races versus these athletes. And I've been there too. I got dusted by a lot of athletes. I'm like, really? And I was like, what? How? It's just a reality in the sport. I think really once I see athletes going under like 202 in the marathon, 203 at times. I mean, there are some legitimate athletes. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely some athletes out there that can do it, that are putting in the work, doing things right. There's a lot out there that, like, really it's questionable. But yeah, it's just part of the sport. But I hear where you're coming from, Oliver, for sure. Great question. Connor, how much mileage do you think an 800 runner should do? Again, every athlete's different. One of the greats, Peter Snell, from New Zealand, I think he ran about 144 he was one of the world's, I think he was the world record holder for 800 meters years ago, back in like the 50s. I'm sure a lot of you already heard of him. He was doing higher mileage. He was doing like 100 plus miles a week, and that's a lot of mileage for an 800 runner. But I think most 800 runners can do very well 30 to 55 miles a week. And most runners at that particular distance, they're running right around there. Some of them are running higher. But yeah, it's just going to vary from athlete to athlete. It's tough. It's a tough question to answer. Some athletes will need to run 50 miles up in order to get the same results that other athletes that are only doing like 30 miles, 25 to 30 miles a week get. And again, as you all know, we all have different physiological capabilities, different engines. There's some athletes out there that have a Bugatti, and there's some other athletes out there that may have a Honda, which is still good. But, the athlete that has that Bugatti engine might get results, in a matter of 6 months. It might take another athlete with a lot less genetic capability. It might take them another 5 or 10 years of training to get to that point. As I always talk about, the point is you get to that point. You finally reach what you want, regardless. But it's just time frame. It's going to take different times, time periods to get there. But great question. Patrick, Coach, you sent out a newsletter a while back to the benefits of beet juice and had some good information. Okay, just resend it again. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah, I have looked into it before in the past, but I have to go back and regroup and read up a little bit more about it as well. Still, always good to refresh, but I do remember sending some information out about it because, again, I think it's a great topic too. But yeah, and also I'll send that out again too. Hey, Run the Planet, good to see you, man. Hey, if all of you guys and gals, check out Run the Planet's YouTube channel. This guy's got a lot of great content. He does what I wish I would have done back, like when YouTube started in 2005, the in-action videos. I wish I would have done some track workouts and had it filmed and all that stuff and training and all that. Run the Planet, he is a very, very competitive athlete, and he's got a great channel, so definitely check him out. Subscribe to his channel. Good to see you. Great show tonight. This week, RDA workout track sprint. Okay, Tuesday track sprint. 16,400s on Sunday, Edinburgh half marathon. I'll be going for sub 40 10K. Not too worried about the half. Crazy, eh? Yeah, man. Awesome work. Wish you the very best on that. You're doing a great job, man. And it'll be great to hear when you get under break the 3-hour marathon barrier too, because you're so close already. If memory serves me right, he's at 3:10. He ran 3:10 at Valencia. Correct me if I'm wrong, Run the Planet, but he's doing awesome. He's running. He's getting near a level that very few runners around the world get to. So, but yeah, like I mentioned, check him out. He's got some great content. Elias, thanks. Love the channel and learned so much from your videos. Thanks for your support. Appreciate it. I'm glad it's helpful. Because I know there's plenty of voices out there. Okay, I mean, plenty of different viewpoints. Okay, some athletes, some coaches, or some athletes will think totally different of what I've expressed. So I'm just one voice, but glad it's helpful. So yeah, good stuff, Patrick. Yeah, glad you're following him. Let's see, you got a lot of comments here. Let's see, Coach, I follow your principles and ran a 2:47 at Chicago. Great job, man. Great job, Jose. I've been drinking water, Gatorade at pretty much every station. Should I be skipping some station? I feel like I lose time on them. That's a good question. I mean, in the marathon distance, yeah, I mean, there's times where you can skip, but I do the very best you can to hit every station if you can, and continue to practice drinking, because that's something that that was a huge mistake I made earlier when I started first running marathons in 2002, is I wasn't drinking enough and I would sip in the race and not drink. So continue to practice that in training during those long runs and get as accustomed as you can to being as on point in the race as you can in that respect. But yeah, it sounds like you're doing everything right, but do the best you can not to skip. But again, don't drink too much to the point where, you cramp up in the race and, that forces you to stop or forces you to have to DNF. So, but yeah, keep up the great work, man. 2:47 is no joke. Impressed. It's great to interact one-on-one, these live streams too, to hear too of what you all run. And again, if your PR is a 4:45 in the marathon or a 60-minute 10K, I'm just as impressed as you are as this athlete. It's just the faster these times, once you're in the 240s, so much more is required to continue to run at even faster paces once you're at that type of level. It's just, but I'm impressed with all of y'all. See, Morty, what should be my 5K time to be in shape to do a sub 3 hour marathon? Okay. Let's check that out. Let's see. And again, this is just estimates. I always use the VDOT calculator, but a 5K equivalent to a sub 3 hour marathon is 1848. So that's where you want to be. And again, these calculators are just guides. It's not like the end all be all. Okay. It says 1848, but you can go out and run a 1930 and break a sub 3 hour marathon. So, but it's around that range, give or take a few seconds. So thanks, Patrick. Respect. Good stuff. Patrick, in the book Born to Run. Yeah, that's a great book. The Tribe run crazy mileage and dominate ultra marathons, but they could only run marathons at 3:30 range. So I think that means you need some speed training. Yeah, absolutely. You do. But that's a great book. If you haven't read it, though, that Indian tribe's insane. They do some massive amounts of volume. But again, they can run for long periods of time, which again, it has its own, it's difficult in its own right. But of course, we all can run a long period of time because again, we're building such a smaller amount of lactic acid buildup. Whereas we go out there and we try to run at race pace, it's a whole different ballgame. But yeah, great book too. Yeah, no problem, JR. My pleasure. Uh-oh. Got Mom on board. Good to see you, Mom. Thanks for supporting me. Appreciate it. Mom and the birds. Let me correct myself. My mom's got some phenomenal birds. The best bird mom in the world, as well as best mom in the world. Respect. Love you, Mom. Patrick, Coach, in your prime, how fast do you think you could have run the marathon with super shoes? Under 210? No. I've been asked that too. I don't think I would have ran under 210. I think probably, and I think maybe 215, maybe a 214 to 216 range, I think would have been around where I would have ran. The shoes I was wearing like 3K, 5K race Adidas Adi Zero shoes when I ran 219. So I don't think it's I don't think I would have broke 210. I wouldn't have come close to that, but I think maybe 214 to 216. Yeah, but it feels weird. I don't even, I think even now, if I went and started training again for races, I would probably just wear regular flats, because I would maybe train in the super shoes, but it feels more natural because I have super shoes and I have regular flats or racing shoes, and the regular shoes just feel more natural for me. And again, I know there's more push off for each stride. There's more accelerate or more what's the word I'm looking for? There's more of a push with each stride. But those super shoes, they're not a guarantee. For a lot of athletes, it's helping them, of course. But yeah, to answer your question, I certainly don't think I would have broke 210. It would have been 214 to 216, 17 range, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Connor. That was helpful. Isaac, good to see you, man. Let's see. Hey, Coach, I'm considering signing up for my first ever marathon next year. Current personal best for half is what? Okay, nice, 1:18:47. So, what would be a realistic marathon target? Not sure what I should aim for. Yeah, you're already. I mean, let's see. I want to look that up because 1:18:47. See what that equivalent. That's equivalent to a 2:44 marathon. But I think in terms of being your first marathon, I think a good realistic goal, maybe you aim for breaking 250. I think you'll run much faster than that, but I think too it's a good, reasonable starting goal. I mean, it's still extremely competitive, but the fact that you can run a half that fast tells me that, one, you can go well under 3 hours. But I think maybe 250, like I said, 250 is a reasonable start goal, but it's an equivalent to a 2:44 marathon. So you very well could go in the low to mid 240s in your first. I just, like I said, I don't place limits on anybody, so there's no telling what your capability is. But because you have a high level of motivation, excitement for what you're doing here, and you've run that quick, yeah, I think starting off maybe 250 is a good solid start off. Try if you can go out there and aim for a sub 250 in your debut. But man, kudos, Isaac, man, you're doing great, man. Let's go running. I've missed these. Hope you're well, coach. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've missed them too. I didn't realize I was away. I make videos pretty routinely, but I didn't realize I had done a live stream in 7 months. So yeah, I was like, I got to get back on the ball here. I gotta, I don't mind. I like interacting with the comments, but one-on-one is the best. So run the plant. Thanks. No, my Valencia blew up. Okay, that's right. 310. Yeah, I was going 310, but never happened. But with the RDA plant, okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and I hear you, man. I know that is a tough event, man. It's tough to perfect that particular race distance. I mean, I had so many times too where I had bad races. Well, still weren't bad races, but times like experience what you've dealt with too, and it's hard. But it's just you have that tenacity and that willingness to just keep going, man. You don't have I don't think quit is in your vocabulary around the planet. So you're well on your way. I know you're going to break 3 hours. Let's go running. I'm looking to break 35 minutes in the 10K this summer after coming off a 250 marathon 3 weeks ago at London. Congrats, man. What is your recommendation for training? 10K PR is 35:57. Goal race is 1 to 20. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, I don't, like I said, I think a lot of times it's just pacing. I think you need to continue to train below your goal race paces, which is natural. But I think, if you land the perfect day, you have a great deal of competition, which I'm sure you will. It's just making some small changes in terms of your pacing and not going out too aggressive in the first 5K. A lot of athletes will do very well on doing most athletes PR. I PR'd my fastest PRs off of positive splits. I would go out much more aggressive or slow down a little bit. But a lot of times if you have been doing that in a routine basis and you're not getting quite the results that you want, maybe trying to run an even split or doing a negative split would be better. So don't change up drastically anything that you're doing, because I think that you're going to be you're already well on your way to breaking 35 minutes of the 10K. The fact that you've already dropped to 35:57 and you have a massive amount of stamina endurance being able to run a 250 marathon. London's got a lot of turns too, man. So it's not like it's a Berlin course. London's flat for the most part, from what I know, but it's got a lot of turns. And to run a 250 marathon off that, man, awesome work. And it's tough to answer these specific questions because everybody's background's different. I think the focus in terms of your training, again, keep training at the level that you're at, and below the goal race paces that you're aiming for. Spend some time running at 34-minute 10K pace in training. Continue to work on your leg development in terms of your form, working on hill repetitions, repeat 150-meter reps, doing the short, faster anaerobic sprint workouts on the track, which I'm sure you're doing. Continue to work on your long runs as well. Run the tangents in the race. Okay. Even that, your pacing and running the tangents, running the least amount of different distance as you can in the race is going to make a huge difference. Just going from 35:57 down to 34:59. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think you're well on your way to doing this. And I wouldn't make any drastic changes. Just keep doing what you're doing. I know it's not like the perfect answer, but you're not far off what you're aiming for. I think it's just a matter of another block of training in your case. And May, June, July, you have sufficient time here to do this. So keep up the great work, man. Awesome work. Trebo, I've heard some ultra runners running 25 to 26 miles in training routinely. For slower runners who's going to be out there 4-hour marathon, do you think it's a good idea to 24 to 20 miler if it takes 4 hours? Well, I mean, for them too, it's like an athlete trying to break 4 hours for the marathon. For them, it's just as difficult as an athlete trying to break 2 hours and 20 or 2 hours and 40 minutes, 3-hour marathon barrier. So I think, yeah, and it's tough. I mean, I think for the marathon distance, usually 18 miles to 22 miles is sufficient for a long run. And some athletes, if they're aiming for breaking through 4 hours, for some, they'll need to be doing 24 to 25 mile long runs. For other athletes, that might be a little bit too far. But yeah, it's going to vary from each athlete, So let's see here. Aaron, hey coach, bought your 240 marathon plan. Thought I had the best block of my life. Completely blew up in the marathon. How long do you think I should wait to start my next block? I'm sorry to hear it didn't go perfect, but yeah, that's why I always say it's in your case, what you're trying to do is, I mean, the amount of runners around the world that even break 3 hours in the marathon is extremely small. When you think about the millions of runners that run these events, it's probably like between 1% and 2%, if that break 3 hours in the marathon, and you're going after sub 240. So it's what you're doing is extremely a small amount of people do that. And I know that you're going to hit it. But you'll also, and I've blown up too in races in the past. So I understand. I think in terms of your time frame, after my buildups, I would always give myself 2 weeks off completely. I would gain weight. I would drink and eat whatever I wanted. I would relax. I would take time away from the sport where I wasn't stressed out, recharge, then get back into your training. And like I said, it's because you're trying to go after such a fast time. Expect this. You're, and not to say somebody that's trying to break 4:30 for the marathon isn't going to experience the equal amount of frustration and difficulty as somebody such as yourself trying to run a 240. It's just the fact that you're trying to run so quick that's something you're just going to experience. Just from my own background, I can attest to the type of time you're aiming for is so competitive that there will be times where you're going to be doubting yourself. So just maintain that focus and drive that you have, and you're going to get it. Absolutely. But yeah, definitely take off minimum 1 week, but 2 weeks. You can still go out and walk if you want, light aerobic activity, but no heavy training. Give yourself time to recharge and relax and heal before you start your next build up. So keep me posted too, Aaron. I know you're going to get this. Will, you say you don't run much anymore. Do you think because you ran at such a high level, your personal enjoyment of running has decreased as you have understandably slowed down? That's a good question. No, it's just more so now. I think that in terms of my goals, I mean, my main goal was to break 2 hours and 22 minutes in the marathon. I wanted to earn an Olympic trials qualifying standard when I was in my early 30s. I PR'd when I was 31. But no, I enjoy just maintaining general fitness. I run maybe 15, 20 miles a week, and the rest of the week I'm running or I'm walking my wife. So it's like it's more so now I just for general fitness. But yeah, there are days where I feel like, being 48, I see other athletes out there in their 50s that are running 240s and 250s for the marathon distance, doing these phenomenal performances. And yeah, they're still, it's ingrained in us, even after I spent about 30 years of my life from 15 up until 38. So yeah, 1992 I started, and then I competed up until around 2014. So I ran about 30 years, just about, competing and living like a monk, so now it's just more so done everything in terms of racing that I want to do. But yeah, I do still feel the itch at times to get out there and compete. Yeah. So great question, Will. Let me reread that one. Hopefully I answered that. What do you think? Because your personal enjoyment of running has decreased. No, I don't. My enjoyment for running hasn't decreased at all. I still absolutely love getting out there and running over hills, and it's just different now in terms of I'm not doing track workouts. I'm not getting ready for other races, things like that. I still absolutely love the sport of running. Still love and enjoy that absolutely just as much as I did when I first started running. So, yeah. Nancy, it's nice to see you too. Next year I'm going to Boston, so wish me luck. Have a great evening. Yeah, same to you, Nancy. Wish you the best. Boston's a great one. So looking forward to hearing how you do there. Pastor, sorry. Yeah, live streams are the best. Enjoy them. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to definitely stay active with these for sure. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Isaac. Thanks very much. Glad to see live streams back too. Good stuff. Yeah, appreciate all y'all's support. Patrick, back in high school, I'd run mile repeats at 4:52 pace. Now I'm almost 40 and might be able to dip under a 6-minute mile pace. Do you think I can get back? Do you think I can get some of that speed back? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's muscle memory. It's going to come back. I mean, it's the general fitness level, as you fully understand, I'm sure, older we get, the harder it is to do those types of times. But yeah, you still have that capability. It's just a matter of getting back into that faster anaerobic shape. But yeah, absolutely, Patrick, you can. I think that's why I injured my hamstring with speed workouts, because my mind goes faster than my body can handle. Yeah, fully understand you there, man. It's the mind's there, but the ability to run that quick as when we were in our youth, like I watch my nephew Brock. I mean, he's 21, and the types of workouts he's doing, the types of race times he's dropping right now. Man, yeah, yeah. Again, it's different running in your 20s versus in your late 40s, But not to say, I mean, there's still athletes out there doing great, dropping great times in their 40s and 50s out there, 60s, 70s. Man, respect. Aaron, thanks, Coach. We'll definitely keep you updated. Yeah, please do. Let's see here. Trebo, wanted to ask you a question. I go to Gym Fitness to get a lot of my run volume treadmill. Why does it feel like treadmills feel way harder and faster than outdoor pace? 11-minute pace treadmill. Yeah, I hear you. It is one, it's just boring I think a lot of times when you're out running, you have other things that are distracting you. Whereas when you're running on a treadmill, you're just in the same spot. I mean, the temperatures are different too, indoors versus outdoors. And again, that I think it just plays with our minds, psychologically at times, running indoors versus outdoors. It's just so much. I mean, I spent a lot of years too training on treadmills. I had a gym, Planet Fitness gym membership years ago too. So I mean, I hear where you're coming from. But yeah, it's just, I think a lot of times when we're running outdoors, there's other things that are distracting us. Where you're running on a treadmill, it's just, you're at that monotonous pace, unless you're doing different types of workouts. But again, it feels faster and harder on a treadmill at times. And it depends on the day too. A lot of times you're going to have times where it's just like, man, this feels so much faster. I feel like I'm working so much harder. And other days you go in there and it's just effortless. So yeah, I think it just depends on the day too. But great question. Hey, Scott, how much can great question, ferritin affect your running? Right before my blood work, it was at 14. I'm sure it's lower than at that time, but lately my running has been difficult. Okay, I'm glad we're about to end on this one. Ferritin is very, very important. If you run low on ferritin, where Scott is at, let's see, has been very difficult before my marathon. Okay. I had a blood test and mine was at 21. If you're at below 30 nanograms per milliliter, this is per Dr. Joe Behill. He says what he recommends, and Scott, definitely do this. He recommends you can order liquid ferrosol or liquid iron on Amazon. He says to take 1 teaspoon of liquid ferrosol with an 8-ounce glass of orange juice for the next month to month and a half until you get your ferritin levels up above 30. I started hitting personal best when I got mine up to 86. Okay, you're at 14. You're even lower than where I was at. So runners, we don't think about this. You lose iron through sweat, foot strike hemolysis. When your foot strikes the ground, you're bursting red blood cells underneath your feet. Look that up. Foot strike hemolysis. Women lose iron through menstruation and also through sweat. These are things that we don't think about. And a lot of times runners will start doubting themselves. They'll start questioning their ability when you're just running low on ferritin. So Scott, glad you asked this question, because this is something so many runners don't know enough about, and I certainly didn't know it. All the years of high school and college, I was probably anemic or borderline anemic, didn't know anything about it. The only way to find out is to get a blood test like what Scott did. But in your case, Scott, you got to get that ferritin level up over 30. So let me see here if I can. There's a presentation online called, let me see if I can find it. I'll leave it in the chat, where Dr. Joe Behill talks about this. And it's at the very end. It's an hour and 14 minutes. It's probably he talks about it in probably the last 5 minutes of the video, but I recommend watching this from start to finish. Dr. Joe Behill is a mentor of mine. I was very fortunate to have been mentored by him when I was in college. And check out this link that I just left here in the chat. If you guys don't see it, I'll leave it on the screen here. But let me see here. That's the link too. If you don't see it in the chat, do that. Yeah, no, my pleasure, Scott. Glad you asked that question. Yeah, because where you're at right now, you want to get that level up. 1 teaspoon of liquid ferrosol with an 8-ounce glass of orange juice. And what I did mention is also a 250 milligram tablet of vitamin C. Watch that video. It's called Vihilosophy, and it's an hour and 14 minutes. Vihil, just listening to the guy is going to motivate you, but he touches on that topic there. So glad you asked that, and appreciate you stopping by. Trebo wanted to say thank you for all your tips and help Run Dream you give to everybody. Really appreciate it. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for your support. Just going to start taking liquid iron and orange juice every day now, just to make sure. Yeah, I mean, that's really, I'm not a physician or a physician assistant. I have background in exercise physiology and anatomy, things like that. But that's mainly for just athletes that are where Scott's at, where I was at. But also, it's still okay what you're doing there, Patrick. I mean, just don't do it every day. I would do it maybe once a week or twice a week if you're feeling fatigued, because especially as you're training in hotter temperatures and humid temperatures, this is very, very important that you maintain your ferritin levels at higher levels. If you're in Scott's case, if his is at 14 right now, Scott, I would recommend maybe in the next 3 to 4 months, getting another blood test, see where you're at. Keep working until you get your ferritin levels above 30. Okay. Normal levels are between 30 up to 300. Okay. But I promise you, when you go from 14 and you get it up to like 50 or 40 and up, you're going to feel phenomenal. Okay. Because ferritin plays a really critical role with oxygen transport throughout the body. And again, if you're running low on ferritin, it doesn't matter how much motivation you have. You're just not going to perform at a high level. So hope that's helpful. All right, guys and gals, I'm going to jump off here. I really appreciate you all asking the great questions. And again, I will make live streams weekly. Sometimes I may jump on here twice a week. I think, like I mentioned here with this platform, I like the fact that I can shoot these videos in different off of different platforms and not just on YouTube. And hopefully, you can reach more athletes that might need some help. So. Thanks again for all the questions. Really appreciate all of you as well. you guys and gals are thanking me, but I also want to say thank you for all you guys and gals do and your great questions. So hope you all have a great evening, great morning, wherever you all in the world. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. Okay. Have a great one. Bye.